All right, let's get to some regional politics now, and a trio of politicians from across the tri-state area in the headlines for very different reasons. Andrew, let's start off in New York.
All right, Rich, and we start with what appears to be the continuing political rehab of former congressman and fan of Twitter Anthony Weiner. Weiner, his wife, Huma Abedin, and his 6-month-old son, posing for this spread in the new edition of People magazine and doing just a little talking as well. Weiner saying, quote, "I'm very happy in my present life," and amid reports that have been saying that he may not run for mayor or that he's disqualified it, here's the key line, hinting that he may not run for office, quote, "The only next dramatic steps I'm planning are on Jordan's first steps," that's his son. He also got some PR help from his wife, who said, quote, "It took a lot of work to get where we are today, but I want people to know that we are a normal family and that Anthony has spent every day since the scandal trying to be the best dad and husband he can be," noting that he also does all the family's laundry. I'm assuming it's pretty dirty laundry. And finally, quote, "I'm proud to be married to him."
Dominic, is he running or no?
Well, he's definitely not running for mayor in this current batch that's coming up right after the presidential race, but he's already back politically. Why would you sit down and talk to People magazine if the stages are not already in order? Weiner is a very smart guy.
What makes you think he's not running?
He's definitely, one, he's not raising money. He has $4.5 million in his congressional.
Which is more than Christine Quinn
No,
has.
based on fundraising on matching
but
dollars.
the political rehabilitation has begun,
yes,
right?
it has begun.
Next up, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, when last checking in with America's angriest governor, he was doing his best Jersey Shore impression. Remember that one? Coincidentally enough, at the Jersey Shore. Now, reports Christie will not be named as Mitt Romney's running mate, but will instead give the keynote address at the Republican convention in late August. Still, pretty glamorous spot here in for a lot, including Barack Obama, a launching pad maybe to their own national ambitions. But is Christie's tough guy act hurting him, either in Jersey or when it came to the VP vetting?
Well, we got some mixed messages, Rich, in the latest Q poll. When asked straight up whether they thought Christie was a bully or a leader, 50% of New Jersey voters called Christie a leader, 45% went with bully. But when not prompted with any suggestions and just asked for one word that describes their governor, 43% of Garden State voters came up with bully, 17% said arrogant, then came tough, honest, good, and aggressive. Not exactly the kindest reviews, though it's not hurting the governor on his job grade. Approval score at 54%, that is 15 points higher than his disapproval score.
You go nationally, that's a pretty good number. You saw the Times piece today. Has this hurt him, though, nationally, his act that we've seen the last 6 months or so?
I think it hurts him among the Republican establishment. I think it hurts him among Mitt Romney's inner circle and those sorts of folks
who
make the VP decisions. But it helps him to no end. Every time he does a stump speech for Mitt Romney, the crowds are there, they love the guy.
As Dominic says, it's a matter of when, not if, though, it's going to blow up on him if he keeps it up. Finally, let's go to Connecticut, where retiring former Democrat Joe Leiberman, now independent, beginning his exit interviews, responding to the vast number of Connecticut Democrats who feel he abandoned the party by supporting not just the Iraq War and John McCain in 2008. Lieberman told the Daily Beast, hey, quote, "I feel the Democratic Party left me," and that his backing McCain was no act of revenge. His words, he said that neither Obama nor Hillary was asking my support, and that I don't have any second thoughts about supporting John McCain. Lieberman certainly not going quietly into the good night. Now, you know the senator. In fact, you worked for the senator, right?
I had the opportunity to work for him in the 90s as a fellow, and have a great deal of respect for him. And he says it, he hasn't changed. And over the decades, the person you see is the person you see. And I agree with him. The Democratic Party has moved away from him. There hasn't been a bit of spending that the Democratic Party hasn't latched onto, or tax increase. And Lieberman, to his credit, will go against the...
But here's my problem. His own words there. Listen, I respect people who, with principle, will break from party. But he said, hey, Barack and Hillary never called me, so I went with John. Not exactly the principled conviction here. My phone wasn't ringing, so I went with the last guy. Come on.
All I know is the person I saw in the 90s is the person I saw in the 2000s. The person today, he's not a loon on the radical fringe. He's strong on security. He's moderate on fiscal issues. And there's no doubt that the party left him. I don't know about that quote.
I don't know about that.
I will let you have the last word, because we like you.
He'd be a great Secretary of State for Romney.
That's not bad.